Welcome
to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 245 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. I've been making this silly math mistake, I think, for the past couple weeks. I assumed for some reason that 245 was a quarter of the way to 1,000, I think, in a couple of instances. I think I said something like, only one episode away, and then we're a quarter of the way. No, that's not quite true. 250, that's a quarter of the way. So we're actually 5 episodes away. Basic math. One of my something I'm still working on. But it's so good to have you here for episode 245 of The Joy of Coding. Let's get started. Let me share my screen. So let's see. Like I said, it's episode 245, March 31st. A reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I don't know how the stream's going to go. I kind of vaguely know what I want to happen during it, but it may or may not go that way. I might get stuck. I might get sidelined. That's okay. That's the name of the game. And that's what we're here for. We're capturing software development in the raw, and we'll see how it goes. And the second thing is that the agenda that we're looking at is something that you have access to. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out the video description down below. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, it'll be in the video details thing on the side. And if you're watching this on Twitch, let me drop this in the Twitch chat. 245.html. Yeah, this is the one. And let me just drop this in the Twitch chat because I got my bridge bot working again. So I can just drop this in Matrix and you should, fingers crossed, see it on the Twitch side of things. So let me know if that didn't show up somehow. Maybe if anyone's watching on Twitch, if they could just say something in the Twitch chat, and that way I'll know it was working. I think the bridge bot is working, but we'll see. Anyways, what are we working on today? Well, I'm working on a series of tests. Actually, I don't see any traffic. Maybe the Twitch bridge bot isn't working again. No. Let me quickly double check. I thought I was testing. Oh, it worked. It worked. Pizza says it worked. Yes. I'd been doing some testing earlier this week to make sure that the bridge bot worked. I would have been heartbroken if it didn't work. So I'm glad it showed up. What are we working on today? Well, I am working on adapting some tests so that they work with our new modals. If you're not familiar with what I mean by modal, it's like this thing. This is what we call a modal, like a web modal. It's a thing that blocks access to the page. It's a synchronous operation. It blocks JavaScript execution until the user interacts with it. That's why we call it modal. And there are a couple of these. There's like the alert. That's a classic. There's confirm. And then there is prompt. That asks a question. And historically, these have used a slightly different, it looks somewhat similar, but a slightly different mechanism. I'll see if I can show you the difference. Let me open up a different profile. Let me open up release and show you what I mean. So this is sort of the old school, what we call tab modals. And tab modals are great because what you don't want to do is you don't want to block the rest of the browser. You just want to block operations in the tab. That's how alerts and confirms and prompts have worked the whole time. And the problem with tab modals is that there are a couple of problems, and I don't remember what they are, but basically we're migrating away from using this particular implementation of tab modal to this particular implementation that actually has more in common with some of our in-content pages. It actually inherits a number of styles from things like our settings page and whatnot. Like it's inheriting the button styles and some of our text styles. So we're transitioning away from tab modals to what we call, what's the actual term here? Content prompt sub-dialogs is what we're transitioning to. Implementation details. For a user, what you'll notice is like the style difference. But functionally speaking, it's like almost exactly equivalent. But because it's so different under the hood, there are a number of tests that have been written for our modals that don't understand what we're doing with the new mechanism. They don't work properly. And so we've had to like disable or pref off the new modals in a number of tests. These are the lists of this is the list of tests where if you have the old mode or the old mode on, the new mode off, they all pass. And if you have the new mode on, then they fail. And I've been working on adapting the tests so that they work in both cases. So that means making them flexible for both cases, because we might end up deciding to pull the ripcord on this particular mechanism. You know, we might decide, look, we found enough bugs that this is not ready to ship, and then we want to turn it off, but we don't want to have all our tests break. So it has to work in both modes. This is a kind of a recurring pattern in Firefox code, at least, and in other software I've worked on, where like with electrolysis, where we split the browser up into multiple processes, or with fission, or we're breaking iframes out into their own processes and like having many content processes. It helps if you make the tests work in both cases, with it on and with it off. And that seems like a lot of work for a mode that will eventually go away, but it helps because it allows you to do slow rollouts, rollbacks, while still having test coverage. And, you know, eventually we will reach the point where all of the tests with the new modals pass, and we decide to tear out the old mechanism. And at that point, we can get rid of the support for when the pref is off. So this is like an intermediary step where we have to support both. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm roughly halfway through. I've already posted a patch for the first half, and you can see that here in bug 1686315, and I've already gotten review for it. I did not expect to get review so quickly, but I'm going to work on the second batch today. We're going to see how far we get. It was pretty varied. Some of these took a couple of minutes. Some of them took like an hour. Some of them actually work if in both modes already, and it's just something had been fixed along the way and they work. So we might get a wide variety of different situations here, but this is the first one. It's called doc shell test browser on before unload. I have the test open here. I've already done the work of getting rid of this line, which disables the preference manually, which was causing the test to fail before. And if I run the test, I can run the test. Let's see here. The test is called browser on before unload. Here, let me pump up the font. You can see what I'm doing. So this is the way I'm running the test. I'm saying mock moki test browser on before unload.js, and then I'm going to say set pref, and then the name of the pref is content prompt sub dialog. And I'm just going to get rid of that line again. I'm going to say set pref. I'm actually going to set it to false. So this is I'm just going to make sure it runs, you know, with the pref off, which it should run properly. Let's just take a look. And then we're also going to learn about what the test is doing so that we can understand how to convert it. Like, wow, it's doing a lot. Sorry if you're sensitive to flashing and stuff. This is maybe epilepsy warning. Like, look away. I did not expect so much. Wow, there is a lot happening. But it appears to be passing. I think I'm going to run this test in headless mode because that is obnoxious. But it's doing a lot. And it did 2,295 checks and passed all of them. Great. Okay, I'm going to run that in headless mode just to make sure I that will pass in headless mode. And that way we don't have to see the flashing in our faces. That took only about 45 seconds, I'd say, somewhere between 45 seconds and a minute. It looks like it's working. So while that's running, let's see if we can understand what this test does. We need to test a lot of permutations here, and there isn't a sensible way to split them up or run them faster. Browser on before unload. Who wrote this test? It may have been me a long time ago. We'll see. Oh, it wasn't me. Yes, it wasn't me. Not that it would have been a problem if it was me. It just, that way I'd feel less embarrassed if I'm like, I don't understand this test. And I go, who wrote this? Oh, I wrote this. Okay, so the first thing I see that's going wrong is that it uses something called the tab modal dialog loaded observer notification to notice when a tab modal has been, opened. And we don't fire this anymore with the new modals. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing going wrong. And where is that used? Just these 4 places. And what it's doing with them is it's got this function with tab modal prompt count. And what it will do is it adds the observer for, what does it do with count? Expected. Okay, I see. It adds an observer for opening up the modal. It runs a function, an asynchronous function. Then when it's done, it removes the observer and then makes sure that the number of tab modals, the number of prompts modals that opened was the expected amount. And let's see where that's used. One place. But it's in this helper function called doTest. And so what it does is we say, okay, well, I expect this many prompts. I want you to run this. And I expect this many prompts to open. Okay. So we can actually, I think, salvage most of this and have it use the alternative dialog loaded observer notification, which is this one, I think. Now, one of the problems that I noticed when working on some of these other tests is that if there are a whole series of dialogues that open at the same time, this observer notification will not open, will not fire rather, for every one of them all at once. It waits until they're focused. That's the difference. With tab modals, they all sort of like stack on top of one another and make the background progressively darker, and then they fire the observer notifications all at the same time. With the new one, only the one that's at the front will fire its observer notification, and then when you click off of it, then the next one comes up, then that, like, it existed behind it, but only whenever it is focused and brought to the front will it fire its observer notification. So that might be a problem here, depending on what these do, like what the caller does. And that's something we could probably check pretty quickly. And then there's this one, promise allow unload prompt. And presumably what this does is if there's a before unload modal, we'll wait until we see the dialogue topic, and then we will either allow or disallow the navigation. Okay, so the good news is that there's a pre-existing mechanism that we can use for this in something called prompt test utils. I was using this before, and it's a very handy chunk of code. But our prompt test utils is this like testing utility library that knows how to work with, knows how to do some basic tasks with both modes. And that's great because we can just kind of drop it in and it will work. It should work the same way, regardless of whether or not the new modals are on or off. So let's bring that in. Actually, I think we generally put the request longer timeout at the start. Bring in prompt test utils. And the way prompt test utils works is we'll say return prompt test utils, and then we'll say handle next prompt. We're going to say the next prompt that opens. That's of a particular type. And I can content prompt type, confirm X, and then we can tell it what button to click. Handle next prompt. And does it have a notion of a browser? Expect prompt allow. Okay, I'm going to augment this so that we pass in the browser, the associated browser, because we need that. So browser, and then we are going to pass this stuff in, and kind of gross, but button num click is going to be, depending on allow navigation, it will be either 0 or 1. Okay, let's get rid of that. Then we're going to clean up that. And what we're going to do is we're going to run this test again in headless mode with the mode off. So we expect this to still work. This is a lot of tests. I wonder if there's a way I can like reduce the size of this like test pool. Like how many times permutations? That sounds like it is going to generate permutations. For a number of actions. Listen and allow. Okay, it's just inventing a whole bunch of permutations. Well, that ran pretty quickly. And it works. So this worked properly, and that's what we wanted. So now we need to make this one more adaptable. And so what I'm going to do, I think, with it is I'm going to get this out of here, and we're going to say, depending on... I did this elsewhere. Depending on whether or not prompts content subdialog is true or false, we can turn that into a constant up here. Const dialog topic equals content prompt subdialog common dialog loaded. Okay, so I expect this to still work with content prompt subdialog equals false. That should not be controversial. But then I'm going to turn it on. I've gotten rid of what I think are all the dependencies in here for the dialogue. We will see. See if it'll work. And if it does, we're golden and we can move on to the next one. If it doesn't, we have to go deeper. And it might, like, part of me was worried that, like, oh, if we've got stacking dialogues, the notifications don't necessarily fire. But you can't really stack before unload dialogues. So maybe that won't be a problem. All right, I'm going to set it to true. I'm going to throw the switch. Let's see what happens. So, if everything goes well, this will all pass. Oh! It's passing. Let's just watch it do its thing. Permutation. Folks, I think we got one. I'm going to play the sound. I don't want to celebrate too soon, but but you know what? Hubris.
Hi-oh!
Let me know if that's too loud. I started to wire the sounds back into OBS rather than just playing them out of my speakers. If that's too loud, let me know. Hey, passed. We did it. We got one. So, pass. Let's move on. I hope they're all this easy. That would be very nice. So let me just take a quick look at the patch and then commit it. I'm going to start a new commit at the top. Watchman, why are you so sleepy? That looks fine. All right. So the bug number is this. And what did I say for the first set of fix up more so I'm going to say fix up more tests. Our heist. We'll move on to the next one. I know this might not be the most exciting stuff. We worked on like really visual stuff last week. Oh, the bookmarks panel stuff landed. So check it out. Like I can got this nice fancy bookmarks panel styling that that we were working on last week. That's landed in Nightly. We were working on that last week and it looks good now. And I know we were working on something really visual last week and this week we're not, but hey, that's the name of the game. That is the name of the game. Okay, next test is on before unload _ navigation. So I'm also going to run this in headless. And let's open up this test first. Sir, on before unload navigation. So first of all, we have to find the place where we pref it off, like in the code where we want to get rid of that. And we're going to run this test in the off state, and it should pass. And while we're waiting for that to pass, let's quickly see if we can understand what this test does. Okay, first thing it does is it opens a tab at a test page. The test page is this specially prepared page. Let's take a look at it. Specially prepared page it exposes a number of test functions where it attempts to navigate the page or to stop the page or reload it or to replace the location. So navigate by way of modifying the location string, clicking on a link, clicking on a different link, clicking on yet another link. And so, okay, so it loads that document in a tab, and then we wait until the test is done loading. This is a very old school way of doing that. How old is this test? Browser on before unload. I know I just need to make this test like pass, but at the same time, I'm tempted to update some parts of it to use new Yeah, this is written back in 2014, and we have new ways of doing things now. We have new utilities, so we can make this easier. Okay, so what we do is we load that page and then we get the test functions that are in that file, that document. We make sure that there are the right number of test functions in there. And then for each number of tests in the test file, so different ways of navigating, we're going to test the allow navigation and disallow navigation. For allowing navigations, you need to reload the test page after each test, since the test will each navigate away from it. Makes sense. And then promise stay on page prompt. That's the on before unload. So what that will do is it's going to wait. There's our old friend tab modal dialog loaded. Okay, I think we can pretty easily convert this. I'm starting to understand what was happening in this test. If we allow the navigation, then we wait for the navigation to complete. Promise stay on page prompt. Yeah, okay. And it like waits a tick. And then we reach back into the page, and then we get the test function. We set on before unload to the test function, change the location, set the inner window ID. Oh, this is actually doing the navigation, I believe. Oh, interesting. It's running the function. Oh, this is testing what happens if you try to do the navigation within the on, before, and load handler. That's a weird case, but I understand now why this test exists. Okay. Then I think I know what we need to do. So, just curious. There's a question inside the chat from lol repeat lol. Lol repeat lol asks, just curious. On the topic of visual stuff, when are the icons going to start being changed? I'm very excited to see how they'll look. Really not trying to rush. Take your time. So there is another engineer, Sam Foster, who is taking a point on updating the icons. It's the sort of thing where we're trying to just like do it once and do it right. The other thing is, so like it's like measure 1,000 times, cut once, but also we want to make it easy in the event that the icons don't work properly, that we can like quickly pull them all out. Like if you were to just sort of land icons piecemeal here and there and here and there, the new icons, then you run the risk. It's not a huge risk, but you run the risk of making it harder to back stuff out in the event that we need to like change our mind on some of the icons. Is that true? I think it's mainly just measuring many times and then cutting once. We're just being very careful. Also, we want to make sure that like we don't have inconsistent icons, that we have like, we do them in like kind of waves. So they're coming. Stay tuned. I am also looking forward to them. I actually haven't seen them, so I don't know what they're going to look like. All right. Let's modify this test. So we know that this test is going to fail if I set this to true. That should not be controversial. Yeah, because it's waiting for the wrong observer notification. Okay. So I think what I will do is basically what we did over here. On before promise stay on page prompt, and we're going to have it pass in the browser. And then we will await. Or actually, we can just like return this. I don't see why we have to wrap it in yet another promise. Okay, so we need to get our promise test utils in here. So we're gonna import them. Okay. So that should work. And then what's the other part? Maybe that's enough. Like I'm tempted to fix up a bunch of this test, but I don't know if it's worth my time. So let's make sure this test runs again with mode false. Lol repeat lol says, gotcha, thanks. No problem. Also, if I seem more energetic than last week, I was really tired last week. I had lunch before the stream rather than after. Like rookie mistake not eating before the stream. I had low energy, and I apologize. I have much more energy this week. Hey, the test passes. So that's what we wanted. That's all the change we needed to make, and that's fine. I was tempted. I feel the urge to like fix this up even more, but not a good use of time. Another time, perhaps. Let's move on. Browser unload between Chrome content. Browser before unload between Chrome content. And Let's open this file up. This one I may have written. We'll see. Nope. Nope, I didn't write this one. Jessica Jong did. Back in the day. All right, how does it work? Await and close. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of this. I have a feeling we're gonna be able to do this pretty easily. So we're gonna just make sure this works in the off mode. And we're gonna use prompt utils again and replace that one chunk. And it should just work. So that works. So I expect this to fail if I set this to true. Almost certainly will, because look, it's using tab modal dialog loaded. So instead, we're going to use, yeah, just waits there. That's fine. We're going to use the same idea from here. It's like the same idea again and again. Let's see if that works. Nope, something failed. Something exploded. Node insert before child to insert before is not child of this node. In before content prompt dialog get content wait for prompt. Oh, I need a browser. I need to pass the browser. That's why. Lint was trying to tell me the whole time. Not working. Let's see what it looks like. What's it waiting on? Oh, the dialogue's not showing up. Well, it is if I try and leave the page. So what was there before? Wait. Nothing different. So why is it not inject before unload and then await and close before unload dialog? Oh, stay on the page, false. Oh, I've got the logic inverted, except navigation. So I'm gonna say do stay on page. They've got the logic inverted in that one. Good. So let's also make sure it passes with the headless or in false mode. And then we'll move on to the next. We're making good time here, folks. Woo! All right. Done. Dunzo. Next. It's going to be a lot of this, folks. I apologize if you were looking for something cooler, but this is just good work. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm not saying I'm doing good work. I'm just saying like this is legitimate work, software development work. You might not see this normally during a live stream, but this is the sort of stuff that professional software engineers work on. Okay, same as before. Await and close alert dialog. Folks, I think we're about to get a freebie. So we're going to get rid of that classic. We're going to say we want to make sure that that test passes false, but then I'm going to, so what it's doing is just, it's not taking an argument, it's immediately accepting the navigation. So we'll do the same thing. We'll just go ahead and accept the navigation. And we have to update the caller to use the browser. That should still pass. Nope. Doesn't pass. Close alert dialog. What was it doing before? It was clicking button 0. That's what we want. Let's see what it looks like. XX Smuda XX says, hi. Hi, XX Smuda. Oh, that's not a before unload. That's just a normal. That's an alert. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to change the type. Not confirm X. It's there are different types. Whoops. Sometimes SearchFox does this. XX Smuda says, I am 11, and I know how to make a calculator in C. Good for you, XX Smuda XX. That's great. Keep doing what you're doing. If I find the IDL file so we can see the different kinds of prompts, I think what we want is the alert type. I think that's what we want. Yay. All right, now we make it work with it set to true. Yay, it works. That's really cool, XX Smuda, about your calculator working in C. Does it have a UI? Is it command line, or does it have a user interface? And if you made a user interface for it, how does it work? And if it doesn't, are you considering making a user interface? Or is it more of like a command line thing? So, hey, I think we got this one. And we're going to mark this as pass and pass. Next. Test after modal state. It's the same biz. XX Smuda XX says, I am barely learning, so I don't know much, but my brother's teaching me. Okay, that's cool. It's cool that you've got a teacher. I mean, there's lots of great resources online, but if you've got someone by your side helping you and looking at your code, that helps a lot. Good stuff. Well, good luck to you. Good luck to you in your journey writing code. C is an interesting language. It is fast. It is very powerful. And it makes you think about memory. Easy to have things compile but still explode. I think that's my main gripe with C, is it's easy for it to compile code that is still kind of dangerous. That can crash. But to each their own. Lots of codes written, lots of software's written in C. Firefox, a good chunk of Firefox is written in a variation of C called C++, which is, you know, it's C and more with classes. XX Smuda says, I want to be a systems engineer. Cool. Programming will help. I think programming will really help there. So in this case, we're opening up yet another prompt. I don't know. What kind of prompt is it? Click me div. And what? Focus after prompt. So it's an actual prompt, right? Yeah, just a prompt. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this. We're once again going to import our prompt test utils. And we're going to replace this. It's just clicking on OK, I think, the confirm button. We're going to take this. We're going to change the type from alert to prompt, I believe. Confirm prompt, yeah. And let's see if it runs. It does not. Can't act. Oh, of course. It's the same issue as before. I keep doing this. I need to pass in the browser. And lint keeps trying to tell me. And I keep not doing it. Oh, I can just use browser here. All right, now let's turn on the mode. I have a good feeling about this. Yay, it works. So that one's done. All right, while I'm thinking about it, let's take a look at the diff, excuse me. Commit what we've got so we don't lose it. Okay, looks good. Let's move on to the next one. Disable dialogues. Welcome back, XX Smuda, who says that they are back. So same deal as per every time. We get rid of that line that manually sets the pref. Then I'm going to run the test with the pref set to false. I'll do it in headless because it's easier and we can read the test while it's doing it. The test injects this script, which adds a before unload event handler that causes the before unload event handler to be shown. And then enable dialogues. Enable dialogues is if we enable the dialogues, then what do? Call win utils. Oh, there's actually a method on window utils called enable dialogues and disable dialogues. I see. That's what we're testing. Disable, enable, and are they enabled? Okay. Makes sense. There's a bunch we could clean up in here, but I'm not going to worry about it. This is the part that needs to be adjusted. It's the same dealio, same pattern that recurs again and again. We're going to put this in here, and I've learned my mistake. I'm going to pass the browser element. Don't you worry. I'm learning. We're also missing a license header. Well, I guess I don't need a license header up here. I think I'm okay. Prompt test utils, and then we are going to What does this do? First, we allow the dialogue. We just set this if the dialogue is ever shown. Oh, tea delivery. Thank you very much. Is this tea? It's coffee. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Well, the way we can do this, we're not replacing a utility function, so it's not exactly like before, but we can copy some of the technique. So what we're going to do is we are going to say let prompt promise equal, or before unload promise equal this. And do we allow the navigation to occur? I can't remember. What did we do? Oh, no, we dismiss it. No, we press button 0. We allow the navigation, I guess. But we're also going to do this. Then dialog shown equals true. And we can get rid of this and this. We're going to await open page, and then we're going to await the before unload promise. And then we can get rid of that. And that, I think, should work. We need the browser, though. Aha. Wait. Do we? What were we doing before? Open page. Oh. Oh, no, this isn't going to work because open page creates a new... We don't have the browser yet. We don't have the browser yet. Hang on. What does prompt test utils say? Handle next prompt, parent, the window. Okay. I can maybe then just pass the window and I don't need the browser. Cool. Let's see if that works. Nope. Browser window. Parent of the prompt. This can be either the parent window or the browser. For tab prompts, if given a window, the currently selected browser in that window will be used. See, that's no good. We don't have the tab yet. Okay, we're going to have to actually, I think, rearrange how some of this works. What we're going to do instead is we are going to have open page take a function that includes a browser. Oh man, no, this is a mess. That is not clearer. Okay. So what it was doing before was like setting up the thing, then opening up the page. Do I have any utilities? Handle prompt. Wait for prompt. The parent window or the... If not given a parent, the method will return on prompts of any window. So wait, maybe I can do that. This might be the easiest thing to do. Let dialog promise equal wait for prompt. We will not pass a parent. And then it takes modal type prompt type. And we don't say what we're going to do with it just yet, but we get the dialog. And then what we'll do is we will then await the dialog promise. And that will be the dialog. And we don't even need dialog shown, actually. At that point, since the promise was resolved, we can say like showed the before unload dialog. And then we can do something with it. Wait a second. This attempts to close the tab. How did that work before? Hang on, let's put all this back. Put everything back. Open page. Oh, I see. We can't await the open page. Let open page promise equal that. And we're gonna await it. Because the dialog blocks the tab from, like, blocks this from actually proceeding. So we have to kick it off, await the dialog, and then we're going to manipulate the dialog. We're going to say, hey, go ahead. Wait, what did we do before? What did we do before? We dismissed it by clicking on button 0. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say handle prompt, await prompt, test utils, handle prompt dialog, and we're going to pass in button numclick 0. Which I know is the default, but I like to be really explicit. And that might actually do it. Minimal refactor. Let's see what happens. Ooh, that's good coffee. All right, works in the false case. Let's check it in the true case. We did it. We did it. You were there when it happened. We did it. Beauty. I got beauty in my eye because I'm holding a bee. Do you get the joke? I've got beauty in my eye because I'm holding a bee. It's not really a riddle. It's just a stupid joke. But I like that joke. It's part of a rap song, or a song that we've been, my band's been putting together. It's a lyric. I got beauty in my eye because I'm holding a bee. On before I unload something, something or other. Same dealio. Get rid of that. Run it with false, and we'll take a look at the test itself. Yeah, same as before. Oh, I think we're gonna be using basically the exact same model as before. We can reuse what we had done. That's good. I guess it's one of the benefits of these tests being very related to one another is oftentimes the solutions will be very similar. Open page true. What did we do before we got, oh yeah, we went ahead and allowed it. So false. I'm so sorry, and I really hate to be that guy, but I don't get it, says Lol Repeat Lol. It's okay. And maybe it is it's because it's a silly joke. It's a silly, silly joke. So I had said, what is it? I got beauty in my eye because I'm holding a bee. It's because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That is the dumb joke. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I'm glad you were that guy. I'm glad you got to ask that. I'm glad you asked that. It's a good question because it's a dumb joke, but also I wanted to explain it. I wanted to have an excuse to explain my dumb joke. So thank you for doing that. Okay, so that works. Both cases. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more to go. I've got one that I took a look at it and was pretty challenging. I'll maybe leave that towards the end, but I don't know if we'll get to that for this stream. But I'm gonna try and see if we can get at least half of the remainder done before the stream ends. We've made pretty good progress. I think we've done this many in just a little under an hour. So if the progress is similar, then, you know, maybe we'll get this much done. Lol Repeat Lol's loving it. He's actually lolling. He is repeat lolling. All right. Let's try this next one. Only after action in frame. Similar names here, but I wonder. Oh, the directory. Okay, so I expect this will be very similar to the last one. Hold on. Before we do that, let's open up the file. Yeah, it's the same. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to run it with false. It will pass. And then it's probably got the open page thing. Yep. Same model as before. We can totally reuse this. And we are totally going to do that. I think I can just wholesale replace this. Yes. That passes, and then that will pass. It should pass now. I've got beauty in my eye because I'm holding a bee. And now we will say true. We did it. Wow, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Boom, boom. All right, next. All right, we're going into a different chunk of the code base, so the tests are likely going to be very different. That's okay. Scooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Doo. Oh, no. I want to run this with false, and I also want to open the file. There's a procedure here, people. We're gonna get rid of this line. Run this with false and see what this test does. Okay, what this test does is it opens up a new tab at this URL with a specially prepared file. That file's job is to fire an alert as soon as the test loads the file in a new tab. So an alert immediately. And then we're going to open up yet another tab. And we want to make sure it's in the same process as the original tab. Okay. And then we're going to make sure that the input task manager is suspended. All right. I'm not sure what that means. But we're going to attempt to navigate the first tab. We're going to attempt to navigate it to the same location. And then we want to check that the input task manager is suspended. That's all going to happen at the same time. We're going to wait for the second tab to load. And then we should expect that the input task manager is suspended in the first tab. That's the result of this. And then we're going to expect this might actually just pass. This might just pass. We fire this event. There's nothing in here that looks like it's tied to tab modals. Let's see what happens if we just run this. So we ran it with false. Let's run it with true. There aren't many of these, but periodically I'll get a freebie. A free B. I'm holding a B here. Hey, we got a freebie. Amazing. We didn't need to have it disabled this whole time. A special shout out to my good friend Barn, the lead singer of the band I'm in. We haven't practiced in like a year because of the pandemic, but he's the one who wrote the theme song for The Joy of Coding. He's got this great channel that you should check out. Hermit the Fraud. You should check out his videos. I'm gonna put a link in here. He covers a lot of great music. Hermit the Fraud, aka Barn. And then if you're interested in seeing my band's music videos, you can find us here. Mike's band. And we have a band camp. I'm not trying to like sell you anything. I'm just like, you don't have to buy the music if you don't want. You can if you want, that'd be great. But like, if you are looking for some fun rock, you can try that. Hopefully that works. Yeah. Oh, whoops. I need to update the URL. That's not the right URL. Should be Bandcamp. Bandcamp. Synchronize. Galvanize. So, that update, I don't actually know. Nope, not yet. There it is. There it is. All right. You can check out my good friend Barnes' videos. He covers a lot of great stuff. My particular favorite lately is his cover of Radiohead's Idiotech, which I really like. Did a great job with what else? I love his Faith No More covers. He did like the entire Angel Dust album, I think, acoustically, a couple of months ago. It's great. Just check him out. He's my good friend. And he's the one I think I should credit with that B joke. That was a 5-minute plug of my friend Barn. All right, next up. That one we got for free. We're just going to take it and run. Hopefully the rest of these are like that. That'd be incredible. Let's check them out. Run the test. Run the test. Okay. Come on, freebie. Give me a freebie. Please. Please. No such luck. No such luck. Okay, let's figure out what's happening. So there's this... Okay, so we have this string that represents the HTML for some page that runs some script that opens up. It sends a message back to the opener and then runs a confirm and then uses document write and then does another post message. This is very circuitous. I don't really get it, but let's see if there's anything. Handle prompt. That sounds like what we care about. Handle prompt. Who defines... Oh, prompt common. Handle prompt. Handle prompt without checks. Add message listener prompt handled. Prompt done. Check prompt state. So some part of this is falling over. Let's see if we can figure out which part. Okay. Let's see if we're getting any of these. Dump, received, prompt, handled, message. Sending, handle, prompt, message. I don't even know who's responsible for sending the response back. Sending, handle, prompt message, and we never get a prompt handled message. That's where we're falling over, it looks like. Sending, handle, prompt message, received, prompt handled message. Who sends prompt handled? Chrome script. Prompts test Chrome script. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All of this looks like it's probably pretty tightly coupled. Let's see if there's a tab modal. There's no observer notification, but it does try and get the tab modal prompt box. Check tab modal. Prompts. Versus get dialog doc. And then what do we do? Dismiss select. Dismiss prompt. What happens if we go like and false? If false. Or let's just get rid of this entire branch. So we try and get the dialog doc. I'm just curious. Aha! If I say false, this is going to fail. Okay, I think I know what we need to do. Tab, prompt, Chrome prompt, subdialog. What we're going to do is we're going to add a similar define up here. Var content prompt subdialog enabled. And then we are going to use those here. If and or. Okay. Let's now run this in the off mode. This should pass. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do this with headless. Wait, what? Content prompt subdialog false. If, oh, sorry, not. That's right. Sorry. We want to enter that branch if content prompt subdialog is false. Okay. Now enter it if it's true. Cool. Now the number of assertions goes down a little bit because I think we don't do check tab modal. We don't do these is's in here, but that's okay, I think. Do we ever do like a check dialog? Get the most recent prompt. Check it. It's a dialogue. We can get the dialogues here. We might want to do something similar. Get dialogue doc. And then G browser equals browser when G browser. We can probably slurp that out. And then we don't want the prompt manager, we want the dialogue manager. I think we did something like this for slightly different test that I was working on yesterday. And the way it worked was we get the tab dialog box. So we get the dialog manager, we get the dialogs. Dialogs equals G browser get dialog box, get tab dialog box, G browser, yeah, get tab dialog box. Dot dialogs, and then we'll say, oh, that's formatted weirdly, and then we'll say if there are no dialogues, and then check dialogue. Dialogue 0 this might be going above and beyond a little bit here. Check dialogue main container. Would that even exist on dialog.ui? Not really. Nope, you know what? I'm bailing out. I'm pulling the ripcord. If my reviewer asks me to like augment this test to actually check the dialogue, I'll do it. But I think I'm just gonna leave it. Oh, got some dump statements in there. We're gonna remove those. All right, let's rerun the test. Maybe we can fit one more in before we call it a day. Did I get as far as I wanted? Not quite. I was hoping to get about here. Unless we get a couple of freebies. I don't think that's going to happen. But we made pretty good progress. Okay, that works. And that's this one. Now we may have actually, now I say freebies, we might actually have gotten a number of these for free. We're about to find out. Because I have just changed the library that I think a bunch of those tests use. So maybe we did just get a bunch of freebies. Let's find out. 620, 145. Who knows? Maybe I'm going to hit the target just kind of like in the last 10 minutes. Get rid of that. I'll run it with false. Okay, now let's run it with true. Maybe we got a freebie. Let's hope. Come on, 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 come on. Yes, yes. Oh yeah, that's nice. And maybe all of these we're gonna get for free in the prompts folder at least. Let's find out. Test DOM prompts. Not quite. Not quite. All right, let's see where it falls over. So close. What is this? Alert with no args. Can you even do that? Can I just do an alert with no args? You can. I did not realize that. All right. Well, let's take a look at the test file. Test DOM prompts with no args. Oh, well, which one is it? Entering alert, okay. Entering test alert, no args. It's this one. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to mark a bunch of these as, or I'm going to say only run this test. That way I can skip a bunch. We can see this one test lock up. Okay. And what we're supposed to do is we are expecting that all of this stuff happens. We're going to say handle prompt. Handle prompt. Sending handle prompt. Received prompt handled. I'm going to assume we're just not receiving that message from the Chrome script. Handle prompt. Which branch of this are we entering is the question. You know what we could do? It's this. Step through and see what branch we enter. Okay. Oh, there's no dialogue. Should have stepped in there. Oh, we're coming back. Step in. Child doc. Location is browser HTML. Location is about blank. This one's also about blank. About blank. About blank. This one's common dialogue. All right. We're expecting the dialogue to be focused. If it's not yet, try later. Bizarre. I need to disable this now. Hold on. I'm going to shut down. And we're going to get rid of this. So it sounds like we never have the child doc focus, so we just kind of like keep doing this forever. Dump, not focused. Returning dialogue. No JS debugger. Not focused. Now, if I focus this, how do I? Eventually, I focused it. Buttons don't focus. Interesting. So it never focused. Initial focus resolver, set default focus. Set default focus is initial load. All right, I'm about to wrap this up. I'm almost done the episode, but we made some pretty decent progress. Pretty happy about it. I don't think the rest of this is going to pose too much of a challenge, but I'm not going to be doing it all on stream. I am very curious about what's going wrong here. Setting default focus to true, and then it says is not focused. It is initial load. Which branch do we enter? Very curious. Let's see which branch we enter, and then I'll call it. Okay. If we don't have an input field, and if we're on Mac OS, then we focus the info body. What is the info body? This .ui.info body is the description of the alert, I guess. Info body, the description. That's the shadow. Dialog grid. Info row. Hold up. What is the info body? Should be document info body. Where's the info body? document, content document. No, here, query selector, info body, or get element. Oh, found it. Where are you? Context. What is your parent element? I can't seem to find you. Info container. Where's your parent element? Dialog row. Hidden equals hidden. Info row. Aha. I think. That's the problem. Because there's no text here, it doesn't focus. And because it doesn't focus, we never get at it in Chrome script. We never get at it. If we're expecting the dialog to be focused, in this particular case, we do not expect it to be focused. Maybe what we need to do is, since the info body is hidden and can't be focused, then we will, oh, is the info body hidden? Info body. Oh, I already lost it. Let's try it again. Or hidden. False. Was no initial focus. No initial focus. So we don't focus the info body unless we're on Mac OS. So I wonder if one thing we could do here, we'll just try a thing. Info body. Where's the structure? Info body is a child of info container, which is part of dialog row, which is hidden. Do I have access to dialog row? Dialog row. Whose job is it to unhide dialog row? Oh, info row. It's called info row. Info row. Okay, so if info row is, if this.ui.info row.hidden, then focus what's directly above the dialog row. Let's focus the grid. Or can we just focus the window? This, what's the window? It'll just be prompt or focus target. Nice. This dot focus target dot focus. Otherwise, let's try that. Let's see what it thinks about this. And then I'm going to call it. You can't focus something's hidden, y'all. Nope. Oh, wait. Hang on. Did I build? I might need to build. Let's just double check. Focusing the window. Focusing the hidden info body. Oh man, we're in overtime. You're getting extra joy of coding here. While we're waiting for the results, I just want to say thank you for watching episode 245 of The Joy of Coding. We're 5 episodes away from 1/4 to 1,000. I guess that's a milestone. I want to thank you for being here. Can't access property focus because focus target is undefined. Oh, well, what about prompt? Let me know what you thought of the episode. If you go back to the agenda, there's this link to rate the episode. Let me know what you thought. Give me suggestions. Give me ideas. I read everything that comes in. Ask me questions. I'll try and answer them on the next stream. What else? Subscribe if you want. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here. No, this dot prompt is undefined. Oh, did I? UI dot focus target. Let's try that. One more chance. One more chance. Come on, believe. Yeah, all right. Got button 0 expected info body. Info body can't be focused. It's not visible. So we're going to have to update that test, but we don't have it hanging anymore. So I think we're in good shape. Unless the info body is not supposed to be hidden. Maybe that's what we're supposed to be doing. Info row dot hidden. What sets that? Tab modal prompts don't have an info row to hide, not hide here, so guard on that here so long as they are in use. Yeah, I have a feeling we're intentionally hiding the info row, so we're going to have to update that test. But I will do that separately. Hey, thanks again for watching The Joy of Coding episode 245. Let me know what you thought by jamming that, subscribe, comment, something, and rate this episode. Just tell your friends. Hey, and check out my friend Barn, and check out my band and the band camp and stuff, and use Firefox. And I will talk to you soon. I will see you in the next episode. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.